Let's get right into it. Number 12. The alarm clock betrayal. You've had this happen. You set your alarm like a responsible adult, you close your eyes, and suddenly your brain decides, hey, what if we wake up at 3:47 a.m. and just stare at the ceiling? No reason. Just vibes. This is because your brain runs on something called the circadian rhythm, which is basically a biological DJ that spins the sleep-wake playlist. Except, sometimes the DJ is drunk. See, your brain has this master clock in the hypothalamus that controls when you feel sleepy or awake. But it's not perfect. Light, stress, caffeine, and even what you dreamed about last night can throw it off. So sometimes, instead of letting you wake up when the alarm goes off like a normal person, your brain is like, surprise. You're awake way too early, and good luck falling back asleep before work. Why would your brain sabotage you like this? Well, ancient humans needed to stay alert to threats. Waking up in the middle of the night could have been a survival advantage. But in 2025, the only threat at 3:47 a.m. is your own anxiety about how little sleep you're getting. Basically, your brain is trying to save you from saber-toothed tigers that don't exist anymore, and instead you're just saved from REM cycles. Thanks, brain. Number 11. Phantom vibrations. You know that moment when you swear your phone just buzzed, but when you check, nope, nothing? Yeah, that's your brain punking you. It's called phantom vibration syndrome, and it's basically your nervous system auditioning for the role of worst personal assistant ever. Your brain is so obsessed with expecting notifications that it literally hallucinates them. The pathways in your brain that handle touch sensations start to blend with the ones wired for anticipation. In other words, your brain is mixing up what you want with what's actually happening. It's like when your dog thinks every sound is the doorbell, but instead of barking, you're just checking your empty phone every 5 minutes like a trained lab rat. The irony? This fake buzzing was never a problem until about 20 years ago. Ancient humans never said, "Bro, did you feel that rock vibrating in my pocket?" This is a modern brain glitch, a byproduct of constantly expecting dopamine hits from little glowing rectangles. So the next time you feel that fake buzz, remember, it's just your nervous system gaslighting you. Number 10. Random word blackouts. Picture this. You're talking confidently in a meeting about to deliver a perfectly normal sentence, and then your brain suddenly goes, wait, what's the word for fork? Spoon? No, it's a sharp food stick thing. Congratulations, you've been hit with the classic tip-of-the-tongue phenomenon. This happens when your brain knows the word, but the retrieval system is basically like a bad Wi-Fi connection. The word is there, floating around somewhere in your memory, but instead of loading instantly, your neurons decide to spin the little buffering wheel for 30 agonizing seconds. Sometimes you'll even blurt out 5 wrong words on the way, like a kid throwing darts blindfolded. Why does this happen? Because your brain stores words in a network of connections, and sometimes the access point you need is temporarily blocked. Stress makes it worse, which is why you forget simple words like banana when giving a presentation. Basically, your brain is trying to look smart, but instead it's like, error 404, vocabulary not found. Number 9. Sudden stage fright. Here's the situation. You've practiced your speech, you know every line, you even wrote it on note cards in case your brain fails you. And then, right as you step up in front of people, your mind goes completely blank. Not one thought. Just static. This is your body's fight or flight response crashing your performance. Evolution taught your brain that being stared at by a crowd equals danger, because in prehistoric times, if a group of eyes was watching you, it was usually predators or an angry tribe. So your brain dumps adrenaline into your system, reroutes blood away from your thinking brain to your oh crap run systems, and suddenly you can't even remember how words work. It's not that you're dumb. It's that your brain decided this is life or death, when in reality you're just giving a PowerPoint about quarterly sales. Your nervous system is basically that one friend who thinks everything is an emergency. And the cruelest part? Once you're back in your seat, your brain instantly remembers every single word you forgot, like it's mocking you on purpose. Number 8. The fake falling trick. You know that thing where you're almost asleep, and suddenly your whole body jerks like you just tripped down an invisible staircase? That's called a hypnic jerk, and it's your brain being a paranoid roommate. Here's what's happening. As you drift into sleep, your muscles start to relax. But your brain, ever the drama queen, interprets this as, oh no, we're falling. Emergency. So it sends a jolt of electricity through your nervous system that makes your body spasm like you just got tasered by your own neurons. Sometimes you even dream you're falling right before it happens, just to complete the humiliation package. Why would evolution give us this feature? The theory is that back when humans slept in trees or precarious caves, this little jerk was a built-in safety system to stop us from falling to our death. But now, the only thing you're falling off is your IKEA mattress, and the only predator nearby is your cat judging you. Basically, your brain is still protecting you from falling out of a tree that hasn't existed in your life for 30,000 years. Thanks again, prehistoric coding. Number 7. Pain that's not there. Ever stub your toe, and then hours later it still feels like the universe personally hates you? Or worse, people who lose a limb sometimes still feel pain in it. That's called phantom limb pain, and it's your brain being the worst kind of improv actor. See, your body's sense of touch isn't just about the nerves in your skin, it's about the brain map in your somatosensory cortex. Each body part has a spot on this mental map. But when you lose a limb or stop getting signals from a body part, the brain freaks out. It still expects input from that area, and when it doesn't get any, it basically fills in the blanks with pain. It's like your brain is too stubborn to admit the limb is gone. Instead, it's like, nope, it's still here. And guess what? It hurts now. This glitch shows just how much of your pain is in your brain, not just your body. Which is great for understanding neuroscience, but terrible if your nervous system decides to cosplay as a haunted house. Number 6. Hunger lies. Picture this. You just ate a full meal. You are stuffed. You couldn't possibly eat more. And then, you walk past a bakery. Suddenly, you're starving again. That's your brain lying to you. Your hunger isn't just about your stomach being empty, it's also about dopamine and anticipation. When your brain sees or smells food, it activates the reward system, basically yelling, more snacks, more snacks, more snacks. This is why you can be physically full but still feel like you could destroy a dozen cookies if given the chance. And it gets worse. Studies show your brain doesn't even notice you're full for about 20 minutes after eating. So technically, you can demolish an entire pizza before your brain finally goes, wait, oh no, we've made a mistake. Evolution built this because early humans didn't have a guaranteed food supply, so binging when food was available was survival. But in modern times, it just means your brain is tricking you into ordering dessert when your stomach is already filing a complaint. Number 5. The why did I walk in here? Curse asterisk asterisk. You stand up, walk into another room, and then, bam. Your brain immediately deletes the reason you went in there. No warning, no mercy. You're just standing in the kitchen like a confused sim, staring at the fridge with zero memory of why you came. This is called the doorway effect. Psychologists found that when you walk through a doorway, your brain treats it like a mental reset. It assumes you're starting a new scene in your mental timeline, so it clears short-term memory to make room for new information. In theory, it's supposed to help you stay organized. In practice, it just means your brain wipes your to-do list every time you move 5 feet. It's kind of like your brain thinks you're a video game character entering a new level, new room, new quest. Forget the last one. Except the quest is usually something dumb, like grab a phone charger. Evolutionarily, this helped humans focus on new environments and potential dangers. Today, it just makes you feel like you're being sabotaged by your own operating system. Number 4. Fake memories, real confidence. Your brain is out here acting like the worst storyteller at a party, confident, enthusiastic, but completely making stuff up. False memories are when your brain convinces you something happened exactly one way, except it didn't. For example, you might swear you left your keys on the counter. You even have a mental picture of it. But then you find them in the bathroom sink, and suddenly you're questioning your entire reality. What's going on is that memory isn't like a video recording. It's more like a badly managed Google Doc. Every time you recall it, you edit it slightly, then save over the original. Over time, those edits pile up until you're confidently remembering events that never existed in the first place. Psychologists have shown this over and over. In one study, researchers literally implanted fake memories into people just by suggesting details that never happened. And participants weren't like, "Oh, maybe that's right." They were adamant. They would bet money on those memories being true. Basically, your brain is so desperate to feel consistent and certain that it will straight up gaslight you. Which is fun when it's about keys, but not so fun when it's about, entire court cases. Number 3. The stress stomach sabotage. Here's a fun one. You're anxious about an exam, a date, or just life in general, and suddenly your stomach decides to join in with cramps, nausea, or the urgent need to sprint to the bathroom. That's because your brain and gut are basically in a long-distance toxic relationship. The gut-brain connection runs through the vagus nerve, which means your digestive system is basically on speakerphone with your emotions. When you're stressed, your brain reroutes blood away from rest and digest mode into fight or flight. Translation: your intestines go on strike. Food doesn't digest properly, stomach acid spikes, and suddenly you're experiencing what scientists politely call GI distress, but normal people call, "Why does my body hate me?" From an evolutionary perspective, this made sense. If you're running from a lion, digestion isn't exactly priority number one. But in the modern world, where your biggest predator is a missed deadline, your brain still pulls the same stunt. Basically, your nervous system can't tell the difference between danger and mild social awkwardness, so it punishes you with stomach issues either way. Number 2. The procrastination glitch. You've got a deadline. The task is simple. You even have enough time. And instead of doing it, you spend 3 hours cleaning your room, reorganizing your sock drawer, or watching a documentary about octopuses. Classic procrastination. This happens because your brain's reward system is built for short-term pleasure, not long-term achievement. When you look at a boring, difficult task, your brain goes, "Nope, that sounds painful," and instead points you towards something easier that gives instant dopamine. In other words, your brain treats, write the essay, like a saber-toothed tiger, and watch YouTube, like sweet berries you can snack on right now. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles planning, is constantly in a wrestling match with the limbic system, which only cares about fun. Guess which side usually wins? Yeah, the limbic system. That's why you only start working when panic finally kicks in. Ironically, your brain needs the stress hormones from last-minute panic to overcome its own laziness. So procrastination isn't you being weak, it's your brain sabotaging you until adrenaline finally bullies it into action. Number 1. The Overthinking Trap. And here it is, the grand finale. You've survived all the other glitches, but this one is like the brain's final boss, overthinking. You know how it goes. Something small happens, like your friend takes 2 hours to text back, and your brain immediately drafts a 400-page conspiracy theory about how they actually hate you. This happens because your brain evolved to predict danger. Being able to analyze situations and imagine outcomes used to keep humans alive. But today, with fewer life or death threats, that same system just spirals into endless what-if scenarios about emails, dates, or whether you embarrassed yourself in 2009. Neuroscientists say overthinking is basically your default network mode, the part of your brain that activates when you're not focused on anything else. Instead of resting, it replays awkward moments like a highlight reel of shame. It convinces you that worrying is the same thing as preparing. Spoiler, it's not. So instead of protecting you, your brain ends up creating stress about things that don't exist yet, or never will. Overthinking is basically your survival system LARPing as a Netflix true crime investigator, except the only victim is your peace of mind. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.